If you're tr- if you're trying to change your life overnight with a massive overhaul, you will fail. Like most New Year's resolutions, trying to change your life in one fell swoop is next to impossible. Let's check back in with our friend Bob to see how to make the impossible possible. My name is Obadiah Talks, and welcome to part 2 on how to build momentum. If this is the first video of mine that you're watching, I'd encourage you to go back and watch our introduction video to momentum. That will give you the necessary context to understand what we're talking about today. And if you like the video, go ahead and hit like. And if you like this content, go ahead and hit subscribe. All that will help me out and tell me that you like my content and will encourage me to keep going and putting out better and better content. Back to the video. Now, where were we? Oh, right. We're helping our friend Bob do the impossible, make the quote unquote massive overhaul. How, you might ask? Through strategic disruption. We'll get more into that later. Bob currently has momentum. It's just the negative kind that we mentioned in part 1, and he feels like he's stuck in a rut. He can't work up the energy to do things. Nothing he tries seems to work. He keeps hitting dead end after dead end. For example, he's out of shape, he's falling behind at work, his finances are a mess, and his sleep schedule is abysmal. How can Bob use these strategic disruptions to solve his problems? The mud of Bob's rut requires high activation energy to overcome. And think about the difficulty and increased effort it takes to drive or walk in mud. This is how Bob feels, making even simple tasks feel like running a marathon. What he needs is a strategic disruption of that negative momentum to get him out of that mud. You might be thinking, Obadiah, you keep mentioning strategic disruption. Are you ever going to tell us what that is? Okay, dang. Yes. Here it is. Strategic disruption is any action used to break the pattern that led to his momentum. That's it. Pretty simple. Bob has it on essentially easy mode to get out of his rut. Then why is it so hard? Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's first talk about what Bob should not do. He shouldn't give into whatever marketing or quote unquote quick fix solution is offered by the almighty algorithm and do that massive life overhaul. Although it may seem like a pattern disruptor, 99% of the time, it's just someone's sleazy attempt to capitalize on other people's misery. And to prove that, we're going to find 4 solutions to Bob's unique problems that are free and don't require a single purchase. As a reminder, the 4 examples that we mentioned earlier were essentially these: physical fitness, his occupation, his finances, and sleep. We'll take a look at an example for each one. First up, fitness. You might be thinking, new year, new me. I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours a day and I'm going to crush this new workout program. Stop. That's a recipe for burnout. What Bob can do as that pattern disruptor is, instead of going for 2 hours, he just does 2 minutes of jumping jacks. That is an easy, bite-sized chunk of exercise that he can do to start momentum. That's the big thing here, is starting the habit. The next example is work. Instead of trying to exceed expectations, whatever the heck that means, what Bob can do is just organize the emails that he has received this week. It's something small, manageable, and that he can accomplish without taking too much time out of his workday. Now, talk about building momentum. His finances. Instead of trying to follow all the gurus out there that say you need to save 20% of your income, instead, he just skips one coffee run that week and puts that $5 away into a new savings account. Look, we all know coffee's getting out of pocket anyway with how expensive it is, so you're probably better off not getting the coffee and making it at home anyways, but I digress. Just skip the one, make it at home, and put that money away for a rainy day. His sleep. Instead of staying up super late, he sets aside one task that he usually does right before bed and saves it for the morning, and saves himself 10 minutes to go to bed that much earlier. It may not sound like much, but again, we're talking about small pattern disruptors, grains of sand in the jar. Again, these may not seem like much, but they're small disruptions in the patterns of life that put a little bit of weight onto the end of that scale and move that needle slightly closer to positive momentum. Instead of trying to do these massive lifts, it's just little wins throughout the day that make the impossible feel that much more manageable. A small win still moves the needle, and showing up consistently always beats intensity. Another way of saying this is don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Taking baby steps, no matter how small, are still steps forward instead of staying where you are. And that's something to be proud of. Getting across the starting line is the hardest part when it comes to making a change. Speaking of starting lines, this gets Bob across the starting line and may even trick his brain into liking the grind. But what if your brain likes the rut? Well, we'll cover that in part 3. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.